Hello everyone. So friends, in this lecture I'm going to show you how to configure a DNS server. In the last few lectures we got the conceptual idea about the DNS. We understood how the DNS works, what are the different elements of the DNS, what is the package required for that. So this is a practice lab session in which we are going to configure a DNS. So before to proceed for the configuration of DNS, I just want to show you what the environment I have. So the environment which I have, you can see in the PPT, the domain which I have, that is example.com, and here you can see in the PPT a lot of servers. So in my environment we have one server, that is workstation.example.com, and you can see the IP as well. And I have one mail server, that is mail.example.com. I have one database server, I have some application server, and that is cfsapp.example.com, and I have one DNS server. Suppose I do not have the DNS server in my organization. So what will happen? If any server is sitting here, if any clients who is sitting at cfsapp.example.com, and if they want to communicate to any other servers, so what will happen? The only way is they have to communicate with the IP address, right? So let me show you. So this is my one server here, and this is my server.example.com. As of now, this server is not configured as a DNS server. It is just a simple server. Suppose if I want to communicate with my workstation, simple, if I am ping workstation.example.com, if I am firing here, it is saying that this, because I have put its entry in the etc host file. Here you can see in etc host file I have put the entry here. Okay, if I am going to remove this entry from here, and if I am going to try to ping to this server, so it is saying that the name and service is not known, right? And if I want to communicate with server, I need to specify the IP, like this one, 43.179. So 179 is the IP of this server. Now you can see that I am able to ping, but with the name I am not able to it. If I want to communicate with the name, then I need to maintain this file, that is etc host file. And this is what we have to do it on all the servers, like in CFS app, database server, mail.example.com, and workstation.com. If we do not have an DNS server in my organization, and suppose a new server is going to add into my environment, the same exercise I have to do it on all the servers. Exercise means that I have to update the etc host file. And suppose if I am going to change an IP of any specific server, suppose I am going to change the IP of this workstation.example.com, so in that case I need to go to the etc host file to each and every server, and from there I need to update the new IP address. Then only all the servers would able to communicate with name as well as IP. So this is what we were doing when we do not have the DNS server. Now once we have the DNS servers, so we do not need to maintain this etc host file. Rather we have to just maintain a file, that is etc host file. This file we have to just maintain, and in that file etc, it's etc, and in that file I have to put the entry of my DNS server. So it would be something like search.example.com and name server, and the name server I am going to put the IP of my DNS server. So this is what I have to do it on all the client machines, so that whenever a client machine they wants to communicate to any of the box, so they will get the information from this file to know the name of your DNS server, and from DNS servers the client is going to query, right? So I'm just going to configure my DNS server. So this is my DNS server, server.example.com. As of now, this server is a simple server on which I'm going to install a DNS package first. So to install a DNS package, we should know what is the package for DNS. So that is a bind package. So bind stands for Barclay Internet Name Service, a software which provides an ability to perform name to IP and vice versa conversion. So to install this, you should have yum configured in your environment, and then bind and bind util. So two package that is required for the DNS. So you can see that within few seconds I am able to install the bind package. So this has been done now. My bind package has been installed. I can query as well rpm-q and grep for bind. So you can see that my system is started showing bind packages. Now configuration of bind. So the configuration file of bind is this one, etc, that is etc, and in etc we have the file name.conf. So this is my main configuration file of bind, right? So here we have to edit this file and put few entries. So let me first make a copy of this file, because it's a configuration file. So whenever you are going to do any changes on the file, so it is always recommended to make a backup copy of your main configuration file. Now vi is my editor. With the help of vi I am going to edit this file. So very first step is to listen on port 53. We all know that the DNS works on port number 53. So my bind package that will listen on port number 53, and that is only for my local host, right? So here I need to enable bind to listen on all the IP address. So for that I need to put entry here. So as of now what I'm going to do, I'm putting any, right? Or you can specify any specific network as well. Okay, this is what you have to do it. And this line I'm going to comment. Okay, and comment out, I have done it. And the next entry is this allow query. So here you need to put entry for which network you want to allow the clients to query from your DNS. If you are not specifying, what will happen if any client that is sitting on your system like workstation, like your CFS app, if they want to query to your DNS server, the DNS server will not respond back, because as of now it is only responding to the query of your local host. But I want that it should respond to any, or you can specify any network like 192.168.43.1 or 0, whatever, right? So it's just a testing purpose, that's why I'm putting any, right? And there is one more entry that is for allowed transfer. So that is on that is basically for the, if you have some slave server in your environment, like if your main DNS server goes down, in that case there should be some redundant servers from where the clients will able to get the query. So as of now I do not have any slave server, so I am not putting this, but the directive for that allow dash transfer. Apart from that you need to create the zones, like, so you have to create the few zone files. So we already understand in the last few lectures what is the role of zones, right? So here I need to put the zones. So it is like zone, and here you can put the name of your domain, example.com. this is my domain, internet, and this is my master server. Okay, and if it is going to be slave, then you have to mention this slave here, and any file name you can give it here, and that would be your main zone file, that is a forward lookup file. So I'm giving this forward dot example.com, any file name you can give it. With the same file name you have to create on the where name directory, and here allow that update, I'm putting it as a none. So this is the few entries you have to do it here, and then you need to close it, right? So we have started with this symbol, and I have closed this one, right? So here this is my domain, we can say that this is the domain name, and this is my primary DNS, type is my primary DNS, and this is the forward lookup zone, we can say that forward lookup file. And this allow update means that this is my primary DNS, so it should be none, right? If it is my slave, then you can put the slave server's name here, because as of now this is my primary, so any allow update is not required for that. Apart from that, I required to create a reverse zone entry as well. So for that, I need to put the zone like zone, and again I have to give the any name. So the name would be something like so it is with the IP of your DNS server, and it is in reverse order. So the IP of my DNS is this one, 192.168.43.49. so it would be like this one. Third octet is my 43.168.192.in, and this is the common name that you have to take for this reverse lookup file. So this is my reverse lookup file name, okay, and in internet, this one type is my master only, and the file name, you can give any file name. If I'm giving this one 43.168.192, so with the same name I have to create the file name there, right? And allow update, I am putting none here, and I need to close this one, right? So this is my zone creation files, right? So this is the entry of the zone in my main configuration file. We have to create the zone file as well, like this one and this one. So as of now, what we have done, we have simply installed the packages, and after that we have done few entries. We have put few entries in my configuration file of my bind. So 2 zone entries, that is for forward and reverse, we have put it in this file. After that, just save and come out. So let me check the status of my named service. It is not loaded yet. Let me try to start it. If there is any issue, this service will not start. So my service is running, okay. Now next step is to create zone files. So it's time to create a lookup file for your created zones, like, so that would be created in your this location, where and name, okay. Here we have to create both the files, like this one and this one, right? So in the next lecture, I'm going to show you how we can create these files and what all the entries required. So that's all for this lecture. Thanks, and if you have time, please join with me in the next lecture. Thanks.